Welcome back, FLR community. I hope everyone's doing well and having an incredible day as always. And in this particular podcast, we're actually going to be joined by Bannik, who is the CEO of FLR Finance. We're going to be talking about everything NFTs. That's FLR Drops, some of the interesting functionality coming to FLR Drops, and also the Samurai NFTs, the Delorian NFTs, and also what's going on with Supaku. I think you're really going to like this. Please feel free to check out the chapters marked in the video if you want to jump to a particular question. And without further ado, let's jump in. So hi to Bannik here from FLR Finance. Great to have you here. I really do appreciate you taking the time to join us today. How are you doing?
I'm great. So thank you. Hope you're doing great as well. And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to talk to you again.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess logically, for those who may be watching who have not heard about FLR Finance for whatever reason, I guess the best place to start would be to give an overview of what FLR Finance is on a high level.
Definitely. So FLR Finance is a Web3 software house, and we're building a suite of DeFi products and Web3 protocols, which are all connected by a central yield aggregator, which we're calling APY Cloud.
Yeah, you know, the APY Cloud is something that I'm incredibly excited about. But today we're going to be focusing more on FLR Drops and sort of NFTs. So I guess, you know, being the first place to, or the first NFT marketplace to allow self-minting, you sort of opened Pandora's box in that sense. And how do you think that affects the NFT space for Songbird?
Well, I believe it's a new playground to start from that. It's a new place for people to experiment, to see what they're capable of and what they can do, what kind of new doors that opens for artists out there who might be just joining the NFT space, others who might be coming from various other networks, possibly to find a community or to be able to experiment more due to lower gas fees. So I believe it's a very, very important step towards, let's say, a more user-friendly NFT experience.
Yeah, for sure. Because, you know, there's a lot of artists within the community, and not necessarily all of them are developers. They may not have the technical knowledge to deploy a contract. And I think having the ability to self-mint is definitely almost essential functionality as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, definitely. And something that I would like to add on that is the fact that we're looking into building something more than that. Things like giving the ability for people to create their own PFPs maybe in the future, or making the whole experience more friendly to people who are not familiar with Web3, or to somebody who doesn't know what a wallet is, what a transaction or a block might be. So I feel all those people will be able to find a home on the FLR network very soon.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, you know, with the ability to self-mint, you may have actors who are, I guess, uploading images which are not necessarily appropriate. Do you guys have any sort of artificial intelligence or something that restricts maybe explicit photos or videos being uploaded?
So yeah, we are actually using a system on the backend which is checking currently the images which might have explicit content or might be in some way not safe for work, or have any kind of pornographical content, or anything in that kind of sense, because we want to create a safe space for people to explore art or other like kind of things artists might want to share. Those, of course, might contain sometimes nudity, and it's not that art should be in some sort of way censored.
Yep.
But we strongly believe that, again, it has to be a safe space where you might be browsing the website with your kid, and you might want to filter out the things you will see on the page. So yes, there is a service we are using for the images right now. We will be looking very soon with FF Labs to expand that to our own service, which will use artificial intelligence, hopefully, to understand both images and videos which might contain nudity or violence or some kind of other disturbing content, and would pretty much flag that as not safe for work. And we also have, of course, content managers, which, because it's a big responsibility to run a marketplace, which would be, again, a safe space for everyone, where no hate or violence is presented or kind of supported. We have actual people looking daily into the content that is minted, except for the algorithm itself.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it's very reassuring as well. There was this big hype about the Samurai NFTs and the Delorian NFTs. Could you give a bit of a recap on the utility?
Definitely. I will, as much as I'm able to. So for now, the Samurai NFT, it is discussed that the utility that it would give is to provide some fees generated for the team pool, team share fees. We are looking into any legalities that might cause, or if there are any. And if that's not the case, that will be released fairly shortly after the full functionality of Drops, as we have already the code base out there, and it has been pretty tested. So I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be implemented aside for legalities.
Yep.
And for the DeLoreans, the utility would be for the users to stake the token on the FLR Drops platform in order to receive exclusive drops as one of the utilities, as you might know already. The other utility that I can for sure mention is access to minting before anybody else for various events. So there might be time-sensitive events, or there might be DeLorean only holders, let's say, events where you would have to own one of the tokens to participate in general. But yeah, there will be, I will give a kind of very small overview. There will be more utilities in terms of fees regarding the Drops platform.
Okay.
That's how far I believe I can state something.
Yeah, sorry.
And the second utility is that the DeLorean holders, the initial DeLorean holders, when that feature will be released, will have a sort of say on what kind of artwork they would prefer to be showcased on the platform.
Interesting. So, yeah, it sounds like there's a lot going on. Maybe some stuff behind the scenes that you can't reveal yet, but yeah, very interesting indeed. So the Samurai and DeLorean NFTs, they're currently on the Ethereum chain, I believe. And you did publish a Medium article relating to bringing them over to Songbird. Could you just expand on that a little bit?
Definitely. So we are right now in the middle of security evaluation within the organization. That happens in order to generate several safe wallets, let's say, which will assure that no Delorians or let's say Samurai NFTs will be minted extra other than the ones that exist, or they cannot be forged in the future. No metadata can be changed.
Yep.
So I believe that will be finished within this week. So within the next couple of weeks, we will see the first Delorians and Samurais on Songbird. However, that of course is depends from the users themselves, right? If somebody will just hold their DeLorean on Ethereum or lost their private keys somewhere, we cannot force that token to be moved. So it could like technically literally take forever. However, the users who will move their tokens will be able soon after that already use them on Songbird, starting with that. And yeah, later on, of course, those tokens will be moved to FLR,
Yep.
if again the holders would wish to do so.
Okay,
Maybe
so there'll be an option. So you will initially receive them on Songbird, and if you want to transfer that over to FLR and receive I guess the same utility on FLR, then you could do so.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually there is a huge chance that you would be able to move them to other networks that we will be supporting.
Yep.
So you would be able to utilize your DeLoreans or your Samurais on that other network eventually, possibly too. That's something that we're looking into.
Yeah, very interesting. You did mention a little bit earlier at the start here about the APY cloud, and if I'm correct in thinking, I think I recall reading about the Samurai and Delorian NFTs having a certain percentage of the royalty fees go to the APY cloud as well.
That is correct. A certain royalty fee from the secondary market sales or from any sales that will happen on those tokens will go to the APY cloud. There will be a certain address which users and us, of course, as an organization, and any other organization which would wish to utilize the APY cloud will be able to use that address to set it as a royalty address, and anything that would go there would be sent to the APY cloud and distributed to the governance takers.
Yeah, I guess on a bit of a tangent here, we talk with Thanasimos very often in the Discord, and he mentioned that you may have been approached by certain artists who want to use the FLR Finance logos, and it could be a good gesture of goodwill to maybe give a portion of the royalties, whether that's 1% or however much, to the APY cloud as, I guess, a bit of a show of respect for using the logos and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. As we would definitely not go legally against any artist using the logo, that to me sounds a little bit too much. However, of course, there is a certain respect to all the people who worked behind the brand, and that would be very appreciated by the team. And of course, nobody is kind of asking for a return, but it would be nice for the community to kind of get those royalties, which in real life a brand would get coming back to their wallet, right? So that again will be something that will be covered by the APY cloud address. Those artists would be able to use that address to set it as a royalty address and send any percentage they would wish to there.
I'm actually really excited about the APY cloud because for me it's almost FLR Finance's like secret source, if you will, and you have all of these protocols which are feeding into it. You get fees from wrapping, from FLR drops, from all sorts of different sources, and I think that's going to be something which is unique to FLR Finance, and I'm really excited about that. But I guess moving on with the questions, I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. What's going on with Supaku and his arms?
So yeah, Supaku will be a huge chapter which will take a very long time to unfold. Generally, there is a very exciting story behind it. Our creative department has put a lot of love into this specific project, and the first one that was revealed to the community was the right arm, I believe, of Supaku.
Yep.
Which is planned to be one of the first drops that we will do as a company, which actually has to do with the Delorian holders. So the plan is that when the Delorian holders will receive their tokens on Songbird, and once the physical redemption protocol will be tested, which is also planned in the next couple of weeks, then the Supaku arm will be dropped to the left arm will be dropped to the Delorian holders, and then from then on there on, the initially planned, let's say, treasury hunt for the Phygital hand will start.
Yeah, because I've seen the actual, I guess you could call it a sculpture of sorts. It does look pretty good. And I guess that's going to be highly desirable with it being just a one of one, right?
Yeah, I definitely believe so. I have actually seen the artifacts with my eyes, and it is very impressive. It is definitely an one of one artifact that a collector and definitely an admirer of FLR Finance would really want to have in his collection.
For sure, for sure. I guess moving on to another NFT collection that maybe not many people know about is the Greed and Glory collection. And this is a collection which is going to have, I believe, utility within various other products that you offer, maybe even boosting like farms and whatnot. So could you just elaborate on this collection and what does it really involve?
Yep, of course. The Greed and Glory collection is actually a very interesting concept for NFT staking. Let's start from that. So the idea is that through an event that will take place on the mainnet, let's say the winning users of that event will receive some NFTs, I'm sorry, in order which will have a utility on the FLR farm product. There will be various boosting, let's say, scales and mechanisms. So depending on which place you won on the event set, you will get either 5 or 10, let's say, percent boost on your yield using FLR farm product, and that will have to do with any farming pool inside the farm product of your choice, right? So by winning that NFT, you will actually be able to boost your yield on FLR farm. And something to add here is that that collection is also strongly connected with the Supaku story.
Okay.
So more steps will be, revealed into that kind of as well.
Interesting. And does this collection also share the same APY cloud like donation, if you will, as the DeLoreans and the Samurais?
I am not certain about the exact percentages, but all the collections that FLR Finance has agreed as a company to launch on the Drops platform right now will have a percentage royalty going to the APY cloud.
Interesting. And I guess on the back of that, I do have one more question about these Greed and Glory NFTs. are they going to be stackable? So let's say there's one that's a 5% booster and you manage to buy 10 of them. Does that equate to a 50% increase?
I don't believe so. I don't think that we have covered that kind of concern
Yep.
right now. So for like to clarify, there are not stakeable right now, so you cannot use multiple together. But that's an interesting concern, and I would definitely mention it to the rest of the team. Maybe we can work around that. And yeah, with that, I believe it's a very good time to mention XFi, and that this is the beauty, I believe, of the experimental finance protocol, that we are able to experiment with the things that the community is requesting, right? Because there might be some kind of idea that any of the community members or somebody who represents the community as you might mention to us, and we all have a safe space to try it out and to work on each other's suggestions, right? So yeah, that's kind of the beauty of XFi. There is a possibility that we would try staking those
Yep.
Grid and Glory NFTs, but it's not something currently within the functionality.
I guess wait for more information, right? And I agree. Having a Canary network, you obviously have the big banner at the top saying that this is an experimental platform, and I think people do need to realize that as well. But it's obviously a great, I guess, environment for developers to really test the boundaries and sort of find and work out the kinks to find out what works before deploying over that functionality onto the mainnet, right?
Definitely. And it's not only like the technical aspect of it working, right? It's also the fact that not in all cultures, not in all communities, and not in all environments the same exact products work. People have different understandings of things, use different mechanisms, or are under a different culture umbrella, right? So just the fact that a code structure works doesn't mean that a consumer or a user or somebody who would at the end of the day use it is happy with it, right?
Yep.
And that's a huge aspect of DeFi and all those Web3 products in general. It might work, but we still have to be sure that it works for the end user and not only in terms of code. And that's also a beautiful part of the Canary network, let's say, use case in general.
Yeah, definitely. It's great having theory, but to put that into practice just, I guess, refines it a little bit and allows a bit more scrutiny into what's actually happening. I guess switching up here, you did make an announcement recently about this idea of being able to sell phygital items, so a physical accompaniment to an NFT. So, am I correct in thinking that you have this smart contract that can conveniently share information regarding the delivery of NFTs, which is obviously an important aspect of remaining private and containing that information with, or I guess sharing it with just who's strictly necessarily wanting it, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that's actually a project that I am very, very excited about. The idea is quite simple. All of us are using the internet to buy things or to order something to our house from various sources, from various companies, which we might know or we might not know. We might be trying something new. But all that data is going to a endpoint, an end place, which we are not aware of. We don't have any kind of control. We do not know how the data is saved, who has the control, who is maintaining that data. if that data is sold or not. If in any kind of case of breach of information or hack or stolen data, we will not be most probably informed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are most of pain points of the mainstream consumer, let's say, in the internet right now.
Yep.
So having all those things in mind, we thought, what if we would be able to encrypt that information between only two or more parties which user agrees on sharing the information with, and that info does not have to be stored by somebody, some single source of truth, which is very conveniently the blockchain, like outside of cryptocurrencies, as a database solution. So we actually were able to implement that protocol where the end user is able to say, hey, I have this NFT and I have this representation of a physical item and I want to redeem it for the actual physical item to be sent to my house or to a point where I want to receive it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would go to your FLR Drops page to redeem the physical item. You would select the item you want to redeem. You would input your address, and then your address would be encrypted and saved on chain for the person who does the delivery to be decrypted and kind of confirm the whole process. Once the delivery is kind of confirmed, the person who sends the item would go to the post office or to the DHL, send it, and get a tracking code, a tracking information number from them, which he again encrypts through the FLR Drops platform, and the user can now be able to know where his item is, if it was sent, and at the exactly same moment when the tracking information is shared, the actual NFT is burned and a proof token of the physical item is sent to the user's wallet. So it's pretty much trustless. No information is saved at any time by FLR Finance. The only person who actually has access to your personal info is the shipper, the person who will ship the item, which, just to clarify here, in the beginning, for obvious security reasons, only FLR Finance will be able to ship any items in collaboration with any artist. But besides that, this is kind of the first time where a process where the user kind of has self-custody of his personal info is in place.
Yeah, I think that's really big. I think in today's world, people often regard data as almost like a currency. If you go to a mainstream store or something and you buy something, you don't really have any idea where, like you say, where it's been stored. But from my perspective, I think the biggest concern is who they're sharing it with, who is buying this data. And I guess this way, the way that you're only sharing your address with is the person that needs to know, right? If you're delivering a physical item, you need to know where to post it. So yeah, that's definitely a new innovation, which I definitely welcome.
Yep.
So
and
go on, sorry.
Just to add on that, the second phase of this would be to add physical points for people to be able to redeem the item but still not share their address. Hopefully we will be able to have physical points at central places in the world where somebody would be able to go pick up his item without having to share his address, just prove the ownership of the token, and the token would be burned on spot, right? So yeah, that's another huge thing. And I believe It will work great on larger scale with actual products such as clothing or jewelry coming up on drops, hopefully very, very soon.
Yeah, nice. I guess taking it to that next level again.
Hopefully.
So there was a recent announcement about raffles, and this is something that I'm particularly excited about. It's basically the concept of buying raffle tickets for an NFT, right? And it allows, I guess, those who maybe don't have so much money, they have a chance to essentially win a high value NFT, but without having to pay a high value in the price tag. Do you want to just talk about raffles and maybe some of the artists that you're onboarding as well?
Definitely. So yeah, as you said, and especially after paying our last visit into the NFT NYC conference, we noticed that most people who participated in large auctions or participated in a chance to get a high value item or like an NFT from an already known artist or from somebody who they might admire, but the artwork is too expensive for them to get. They wouldn't even bother to go to that auction or like think about it even, right?
Yep.
And that for me personally was kind of concerning. And then we talked about it with my partner, where Brett pretty much agreed after watching around New York, and we sat down, and actually Brett came up with this concept of what happens if everybody has the exact same chances to programmatically receive something, and the cost of participation is the exact same for everyone. So let's say if you and me would buy just one ticket, right, each for the raffle, both of us would have exactly the same programmatically proven chances that we would receive the item. There would not be somebody favored. It cannot be some kind of rigged, or the algorithm cannot be, let's say, changed in any way.
And is this because it's the smart contracts that's providing this functionality, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much programmatically proven that the number which is the winning ticket is as random as it gets.
Yep.
Right, and also the timing and everything that could be a variable sensitive to forging kind of the data or changing the results, it's simply cannot be done. So everybody has exactly the same chances to receive the item. Of course, the more tickets you own, the more chances you get, and that's obvious. But still, a player with only one ticket at the end of the day might be the winner. Like nothing guarantees you that by having more tickets you will win. Yeah, something very, very exciting for all the founders, actually. That was a great idea that somebody in the team came up with. And I believe it will change drastically the distribution mechanisms and the like, let's say, NFT wealth distribution in the space.
Yeah, for sure. And something else that I think is important to mention is that, you may see it as a benefit for users or the buyers of NFTs, but this could also theoretically be better for the seller as well. So, let's say you have an NFT that you want to sell for 1,000 Songbird, and you can basically have tickets be minted which exceed that initial value that you wanted to sell for, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, it's a tricky aspect from that because it comes with some sense of responsibility, right? there are, again, legalities around those things, and not everybody, I feel, should be able to run that kind of marketing campaigns, let's say, or
Yep.
aggregation methods, because it should be fair. It should be fair from the sense of that it's not about the actual profit of the artist. It's not about FLR Finance making more profit than it could. It's about actually distributing fairly the artifacts.
Yeah.
And that is an interesting mechanism of the raffle itself, as we have implemented it, is that the tickets amount for the raffles would be the costs that the company had to produce that item, right? Anything beyond that, people can buy, but the timer would start. They only would have so much time to buy more than that ticket.
Oh, okay.
So it is fair for both sides.
Yep.
Of course, the artist should cover the costs of building something, right? Especially when it's a physical item crafted carefully with professionalism.
Yep.
But it should not be something crazy beyond that. And that's one of the reasons that both raffle and the physical redemption will be two features that we will have closed for FLR Finance in the beginning, and we will onboard artists as we go, and we will KYC every single item, every single person who is onboarded, on the platform, and we will identify that every single item is already built and it is already a physical item rather than the artist bootstrapping
Yep.
from the sale of the NFT to generate that physical item, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think just recently we have seen this, I guess, explosion of physical accompaniments to NFTs, and it's great to see, I guess, innovative solutions, something different, that we're not really seeing with this like this raffle thing. It's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds. So I guess to round up, I guess the penultimate question would be, what's next for FLR Drops? Do you have any new functionality outside of the scope of what we've already talked about? Maybe trading history of NFTs or some charts or anything like that?
Definitely, there is a long list of things that we're working on right now. I actually can see it on the wall in front of me. But some of the things that are coming very, very soon is the ability of trade NFTs using XFi.
Okay.
So buy, sell, bid on NFTs, and of course accept bids based on XFi. That's an interesting feature to be added as we calculate floor prices, we calculate all the volumes, etc. So there's a lot of calculation with the dollar value of a token at that time, right?
Yep.
So it is quite tricky, but that's the next feature we're very close to release. Then we will be releasing in the next days optimization on performance and SEO, so people could share their links more comfortably with like preview of what it is and the title of the collection or the item.
Yep.
And then from there on, we will go with notifications, trading history, single user authentication system, which will allow on a lot of notifications on your emails as well. So you would be able to kind of configure notification on the loans platform, for example, or on FLRX, or on drops on specific items, like put limit price notifications or things like that on DEX using that system. So an authentication system will be in place. And then, of course, with that, profile editing, and then trading history, and charts and what so on FLR Drops.
Well, yeah, it sounds like you're very busy, but all of these are very much welcomed features. I'm sure everyone watching will agree. I guess then the final question is, what's next for the broader FLR finance ecosystem? You know, what's coming up next, the big milestones, and there is the XFi snapshot coming up in the near future. Do you want to remind everyone about that?
Definitely. So the XFi snapshots will take place in the very, very near future. That's definitely one thing that I would like to remind on. A huge reminder that the terms of the snapshot have significantly changed, and they're more related to the holders of the XFi token. So you might want to take a look into that if you haven't. But yeah, snapshot will be a huge thing that will, of course, signal the launch on the mainnet. I don't want to put dates on out there because we will not rush ourselves into it. Definitely, we want to make sure everything is audited, done properly. We have addressed any security concerns, and all the best practices are in place, and then that will happen. Besides that, the launch of FLR Wrap on Coston is something that I would like to remind people of, which will be extremely fascinating and fun. And that, of course, will go through Songbird first. So a huge reminder, since we're talking about the snapshot and the launch on mainnet, is that Songbird doesn't go anywhere as a network. It will still be there.
Definitely.
And at least all of our products will first launch on the XFi protocol under the token of XFi as a utility, or SFIN accordingly. There is a very long list of new products to be launched on Songbird yet before those would go to mainnet. So there is a lot of utility to be realized by XFi, which hasn't been yet. The functionality is not all there, and most of the utility is not actually there right now. So yeah, those are all the things that I would like to mention. There are definitely things coming from other networks and other ecosystems than Flare, such as LGCY is one of the networks which we're very close with. XDC, we're in talks, of course. And yeah, those are some spots I would definitely say that our next significant move will be on, both as software providers as well as a DeFi protocol.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks and months. So yeah, I guess I'd just like to thank you for taking time out to be here today and to do this. I know you're obviously very busy by the long list of features that need to be implemented, but yeah, I really do appreciate you coming on, and wondering if you have any closing comments for the community before you leave.
No, I believe the only thing that I would say is be patient, stay around. I believe everybody have seen that there are some amazing things that are built by all the teams on Songbird, and several things that FF Labs as well as FLR Finance team are building are definitely worth the wait, and at least, you know, giving it a try, because I strongly feel that some of the things that we discussed today will change the way we think about either shipping or distribution of fair distribution of NFTs. I definitely believe all those points are extremely important for the future of Web3.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's safe to say we are still very early in this. And I guess patience is key. That's the main takeaway. But
Exactly.
yeah, thanks a lot for coming by. And I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
So that was the podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Lots of interesting information, and it looks like we have a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks and months ahead. Thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, I'm out.
Mission Control, we have liftoff.